Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hypergamous Journey. My name is Denise. At this channel, I discuss dating advice for women 50 and older. I am 62. Keep in mind, I'm on this journey with you. So I had my date with match number 7 provided by It's Just Lunch, the matchmaking service. And I had a wonderful time with him. Like I said, he is match number 7. I have a contract for 12 matches and to go on 12 dates. He is match number 7. I have 5 more to go. And it was very, very, very nice. We went to this upscale restaurant that I had been to before, and I went during lunch. So this time we went at like 3:30 was the date, and the prices had doubled and tripled. And so me in shock, I mentioned it to him, and I was like, I wanted some lobster mac and cheese, and at lunchtime it's $30. And when I looked on the menu at 3:30, it was 67. And so I was just in sticker shock. I'm like, it's just macaroni and cheese with a little bit of lobster. And the upscale places, I'm no stranger to upscale dining. I mean, I believe I know how to eat with the right forks and spoons, when the setting is out, because I've studied that so that I can feel comfortable in upscale, multi-course dining. But I was just in sticker shock because on these dates, the man is not obligated to pay for the meal. And for the last couple of dates I had gone on, I was paying for the meal. And I'm okay with a lunch date, but I'm not willing to pay $67 for macaroni and cheese. I'm just not. I don't care how good it is. And especially when I go at lunchtime and it's just $30 and there's no guarantee that, wasn't in my budget. I guess I could just say that. It just wasn't in my budget to pay $100 for macaroni and cheese or anything else on the menu that was 3 times the price that it was at lunchtime. And I know that the prices go up and stuff like that. I just wasn't ready to pay for it myself. So anyway, he said, well, and there's validation of the parking, if you buy something. So he said, well, let's just order something and so that you can get your parking validated and we can go somewhere else. So I was like, okay, because he also knew that he wasn't obligated to pay either. And he looked at the prices. He was like, this is crazy. I've never been to this restaurant and I don't want to pay this much for this food. And I've never even eaten here before. Meanwhile, I had. But I didn't share that with him because I felt like, what was the point of it? So anyway, and I got the ball rolling. So I was like, I said to him when I wanted to order the mac and cheese with lobster, and I saw a price next to it. I just couldn't believe it. So I said, I pointed to it. I said, is this the price? He's like, yeah, that's the price. So he had peeped the prices too. So anyway, he said, let's just order an appetizer so you can get your stuff validated, your parking validated, and then we can go someplace else. And so he said, I've been to these restaurants over here. This was in Midtown Atlanta. So he said, I've been to these restaurants before, but I've never been to this one. So then he started to rattle off some other places. And then we went to another restaurant that he was familiar with really was within walking distance of where we were. He said, I've been to this restaurant. I know the food is good here. So another upscale place. So price wasn't an issue for him, but it was an issue for me because with It's Just Lunch, your date is not obligated to pay for your lunch. And so I had my budget. And like I said, all the other dates did not pay, except maybe I've had 6 dates, maybe 3 paid for mine. So anyway, we went to another place and it wasn't open until 5. And so then we went to another place and it wasn't open till 5. Till finally we ended up in this local place in the east part of Atlanta. So he had taken me I think we even went to another place. We went to maybe 3 restaurants that had, it was Friday. So 3 restaurants that were closed for dinner and, preparing for dinner. And we finally ended up at a place at like 5 o'clock, 5:30 in a local neighborhood that had become gentrified. And I was shocked because this neighborhood, when I moved to Atlanta 20 something years ago, would have been considered the hood. And now, expensive condominiums, expensive homes, very upscale restaurants, just totally transformed. So we ended up there, and it was a good experience, and we talked, and we had a lot of things in common. And ladies, when you go on your first date and the man starts touching you on your arm and all that kind of stuff, you know that he's liking you, okay? Or, I didn't feel like it was an invasion of my private space. It was light. It was lighthearted. When we would laugh, we just had a lot of things in common, and he enjoyed the day. And I asked him if he had seen my pictures, and he said he had not. And then he told me that when he joined the matchmaking service a while back, maybe a year or two ago, that he never saw any of the women's pictures, and he discussed it with some of his friends, he said, that had also joined, and they didn't see any of the women's pictures either. And he asked the company about it, and they said that they are matchmaking service, and it's one of the things that they do not do is show the women's pictures, but they show the man's pictures. And I would imagine that because men are visual, and they will decline if the picture isn't what they like or isn't their type. And women seem to be a little, especially mature women, are a little bit more open-minded about accepting men who don't look a certain way. So anyway, the date was wonderful. I had a wonderful time. That was Friday, and he called me the next day. The next evening, he called and said he had a wonderful time. And, it didn't bother me. He said that he felt my energy felt calm and relaxing to him. He said a lot of women would not have liked the different restaurants that we went to and them being closed. And it was just an adventure for me. It was just an adventure to see how much of Atlanta he knew. Was pricing a problem? And like I said, I brought it up at first because on these dates, there's no guarantee that the man is going to pay. And I already knew I had a set budget, and everything on the menu was 3 times the lunch price. And so I had a problem with the restaurant. So anyway, that is my date, and it was wonderful. I had a good time. The positive is that, he was touching my arm when we talked and made jokes and laughed. And so that's a good sign. And he called the next day. That's another good sign. So we'll see where it goes. I'll keep you updated. And it was a wonderful date. I had a great time. If you like this video or any of my others, please like, subscribe, share, tell folk, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.